So you're cold. Or maybe you're scared. Suddenly, tiny hairs on your arms stand up like they've just heard shocking gossip. Congratulations, your body is trying to fluff up its non-existent fur coat. That's right, goosebumps are a leftover. Survival reflex from our furrier ancestors. When a wild animal got cold or felt threatened, raising their hair made them warmer or appear bigger and more intimidating. It was like nature's puff jacket/intimidation flex. But here's the problem. You are not a porcupine or a werewolf. You're just a person trying to watch Netflix without freezing. And your body's like, don't worry, I've activated emergency hair mode. Except it does absolutely nothing. No insulation. No intimidation. Just awkward skin pimples that make you look like you lost a fight with static electricity. Worse. We still get goosebumps when emotionally moved, like hearing a powerful song or seeing a dramatic movie scene. Why? Because your brain can't tell the difference between a lion roaring in your face and Adele hitting a high note. It just knows intensity and hits the same freakout and raise the hairs. Button, basically, your body's still living in the jungle. You're in an Uber. Ever sat still for 5 minutes and suddenly your leg itches, like it's being attacked by invisible ants? Or your back, which hasn't made a peep all day, now feels like it's on fire, and you can't reach it without looking like a confused cat. Welcome to the weirdly personal glitch known as phantom itches. These aren't caused by bugs or allergies. No, this is just your nervous system being bored. When your body isn't moving or getting outside stimuli, your nerves sometimes send out little test signals to make sure everything's still working. It's like a glitchy check-in system from a 1997 Windows update. Hey, just checking if this nerve still exists. Scratch now, if alive. And what happens when you scratch? Relief for about 2 seconds. Then the itch either moves or intensifies, like it's playing hide and seek with your soul. There's even a phenomenon where thinking about itching can literally make you start itching. If you weren't itchy before, I bet you are now. Sorry, science made me do it. In short, your skin is fine. Your brain is just being a toddler with a toy it forgot existed until you tried to ignore it. You know those weird little blobs or squiggly lines that drift across your vision when you stare at a bright sky or a blank wall? Yeah, those aren't ghosts, they're called floaters, and they're tiny bits of protein or cellular debris literally floating inside your eyeball juice. They're harmless, totally normal, but extremely creepy when you first notice them and think you've been marked by a celestial being. Fun fact, you can never directly look at a floater. Like some visual ninja, it moves as your eye moves. So you're always just barely chasing it, like trying to catch a fly with telepathy. So why are they there? Because your eyeball is a gelatinous sack of light-sensitive soup, and over time, little particles just sort of break off. Think of it as retinal dandruff. But instead of falling away, it stays inside your eyeball and casts microscopic shadows on your retina. It's your body's way of saying, hey, I might not be perfect, but I will leave visual trash in your line of sight forever. You're welcome. You're drifting off to sleep. It's peaceful, calm. Then suddenly, bam, you jolt awake like you just fell off a building. Your heart's racing. You're confused. Your body has no idea what just happened, but it's very sure it saved your life. This, dear viewer, is a hypnic jerk, and it's one of the most dramatic bugs in the human operating system. It happens when your body starts relaxing, your muscles loosen, and your brain, in its infinite, glitchy wisdom, misinterprets that as, oh God, we're falling. So it slams the panic button and fires every motor neuron, like a car alarm in an empty parking lot. Some scientists think it's an evolutionary throwback to when our ancestors slept in trees. If your body went limp too fast, your brain would freak out and jolt you awake before you fell off a branch. Cute, right? Except now we're in beds, and the only tree we're near is the one holding up the Wi-Fi router. Basically, your nervous system is throwing a tantrum in your honor, as if falling asleep wasn't already hard enough. You step outside, sun hits your face, and suddenly, achoo, you're blasting snot into the atmosphere like you've just inhaled peppered glitter. Welcome to the photic sneeze reflex. A totally useless and completely involuntary glitch affecting around 10 to 35% of people, yes. Your eyes saw a bright light, and your nose just panicked. Why? Because your optic nerve and your trigeminal nerve, which controls facial sensations, like sneezing, are basically next-door neighbors in your brain. And sometimes they accidentally cross wires. Light comes in, eye flinches, and your brain's like, fire up the sneeze cannon. There's no evolutionary reason for it, no survival advantage. Just good old neurological miscommunication. Some scientists think it might be a leftover wiring problem from fetal development. Others just shrug and say, well, brains are weird, and if you're a photic sneezer, you know the pain. Driving with the sun in your eyes feels like playing chicken with your own mucus. There is no socially elegant way to sneeze while merging onto a freeway. None. There's nothing quite like biting into ice cream, enjoying the bliss. Then bam, instant cranial betrayal. It feels like someone shoved a frozen knife into your frontal lobe. This is brain freeze. Or if you want to sound fancy, sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia, which literally means nerve pain of the sphenopalatine ganglion. Try saying that mid-scream. What's actually happening? When something super cold hits the roof of your mouth, it rapidly chills blood vessels in the palate. Your body, ever dramatic, overreacts by slamming those vessels open again, trying to get warm blood flowing. This sudden dilation triggers a pain response from a major nerve that also connects to your forehead. So the pain gets rerouted and delivered straight to your brain's front porch. Basically, your face experiences a temperature glitch and your brain gets dragged into the drama. Pro tip: press your tongue to the roof of your mouth to warm it up. It sometimes helps, or just accept that ice cream comes with a free side of existential dread. Let's take a moment to appreciate hiccups, the biological equivalent of your body. Tripping over nothing and then pretending it meant to. Do that. What even are they? Random spasms of your diaphragm, followed by your vocal cords slamming shut and producing that adorable little hic sound, which is somehow both comical and rage-inducing. The causes range from overeating to laughing to just existing to enthusiastically. But here's the kicker. Scientists still don't fully agree on why we hiccup. One theory: it's a leftover from our amphibian ancestors who used a similar spasm mechanism to help control gill function. So yeah, your lungs might be reliving their fishy past. Cute. Another theory is it's an early reflex in babies to help them coordinate breathing and swallowing, which makes sense if you're 2 weeks old. But if you're trying to order a latte and hiccup so hard you sound like a squeaky balloon, it feels a bit less adorable. And don't even get me started on people who get hiccups for days. Yes, that's real. The longest recorded case lasted over 60 years. That's not a glitch. That's your body just trolling you at that point. You walk into a room full of purpose, a mission, a goal. You cross the threshold and wait. What were you doing again? Why are you holding a spoon? Is this your room? This little mental faceplant is called the doorway effect, and it's one of your brain's least charming features. The moment you move from one space to another, like through a literal doorway, your brain often files away your current short-term memory in a neat little drawer labeled old context and prepares a blank slate for the new environment, which would be super helpful if your next room were, say, a battlefield or a hostile jungle. But it's just the kitchen. And now you're staring at a banana, wondering if you're supposed to be mad at it. It's not that your memory is broken, it's that your brain treats physical space changes like scene cuts in a movie. And just like that, the last scene is poof, gone, until you walk back, retrace your steps, and suddenly go, oh right, scissors. It's basically your brain buffering. And honestly, we deserve a patch update.